SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is a remastering of the original game by the same name that was released in 2003. Developed by Purple Lamp Studios and published by THQ Nordic, SpongeBob Rehydrated takes players once more to Bikini Bottom to fight off a robot invasion. But this time, the visuals have been improved and previously cut content has been added back in. Does Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated quench our thirst?
Can I get you anything?
Water would be nice.
Or does it leave us gasping for water? Find out in our review.
I need it!
For those that have been living under a rock with Patrick Star, Battle for Bikini Bottom follows the story of SpongeBob and his friends, fighting against a horde of robots that have overrun Bikini Bottom. Obviously, this is all Plankton's fault.
Oh, no, wait! But I'm your master! I made you! No, oh, my good China!
While players do get to spend some time playing as Patrick and Sandy, the main focus is going to be on SpongeBob.
I'd better get started now, Gary. I think that this is going to be a very long day.
Each of these characters features unique abilities and movement, with players needing to use the right one for the job at hand.
Spatula!
I don't speak Italian.
As for the environments players will be playing through, they're lifted straight from the Nickelodeon cartoon. Fans of the show will feel at home in the jellyfish fields, rock bottom, and even Sandy's water-free underwater dome.
Them there robots busted up the glass, SpongeBob. I got a treehouse chock full of robots and it's all your fault, so get in there and clean up your mess.
The platforming aspect of Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated offers the usual fare. There are golden spatulas to collect that grant access to more levels, hidden collectibles that require some experimentation, as well as backtracking when you unlock new abilities. It may not have pushed any boundaries at its release, but the main appeal is in the faithful recreation of the SpongeBob TV series in video game format.
See, Squidward? I knew that you could help me out. You're the best.
Don't touch me.
All of this is to say that while the groundwork for the game has been laid back in 2003, Purple Lamp Studios' efforts to bring it to the modern audience are nothing short of miraculous. The first thing players will notice is the visual upgrade. Everything in the game looks far superior to its early 2000s twin. From the opening cinematics to exploring the jellyfish fields, everything about Rehydrated just pops.
Well, your nose does look pretty big. I mean, bigger than usual because it's usually pretty big. And you look clammy. And oh my gosh, you're bald!
The character models are animated beautifully, the textures are rich and vibrant, and the levels manage to retain their original charm despite the visual overhaul. Jellyfish Fields even has individual blades of grass.
Again!
At times, the vibrant colors can be almost too much. One thing that would have been the cherry on top is that if Rehydrated had a function similar to what we've seen in Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2's re-release. These two games allowed players to switch the visuals back and forth on the fly. It would have been excellent to see Bikini Bottom's 2020 visuals and then switch back to see what they looked like 17 years ago.
Oh, yeah, it's that sponge kid. And now, what was I supposed to tell you?
SpongeBob Rehydrated also features some user interface improvements. In the original, pausing the game allowed the player to look through a list of golden spatulas. It was a rather simple layout. In Rehydrated, the pause menu shows you a detailed map with the image representing each level. This is a small addition that brings a bit more flavor to an otherwise simple pause menu. While Rehydrated does get a lot right, there are some graphical and technical hiccups. Early on in the game, there were some graphical pop-ins when transitioning between zones. And as I mentioned before, sometimes the visuals can be a bit overpowering, almost as if the gamma is up too high. The only real technical problem I encountered in SpongeBob Rehydrated is the extremely frustrating camera issue. While the camera has been improved leaps and bounds from the original, whenever the player switches to another character, the camera reverts to default settings. For those that invert the Y-axis, or even X-axis, this means having to go into the setting every time you change a character at a bus stop or during a boss fight.
That does it! You pushed this squirrel too far! Get ready for a hot fudge twister, Texas style.
SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated also boasts previously cut content. One of the biggest additions is a multiplayer horde mode. In this mode, players pick one of several SpongeBob characters to play. There are 3 main characters from the single player, as well as Squidward, Gary, Mr. Krabs, and Plankton. All of these characters feature the same moveset, though they have a different weapon that slightly changes their basic attack. It feels more like a skin swap than a fresh way to play. As for how the horde mode unfolds, it's actually several island arenas of increasingly difficult robots in greater numbers. Players need to clear 3 islands, which destroys one of Robo Squidward's tentacles, the main boss, although you never get to fight it. This amounts to fighting through about 26 islands. Ultimately, it's not a very challenging experience, and there's really no reason to play it multiple times. Even the ability to play as other characters offers no significant new gameplay options.
That's terrible.
It's not just the multiplayer gameplay that is disappointingly hollow. The audio is also oddly barren in multiplayer mode. There is a lack of atmosphere, with the only audio coming from the attacks of the player, robots, and the music. As far as the overall multiplayer experience goes, there's really not enough here to warrant playing it more than once. There are no rewards to chase, and no sense of progress. It would have been good to have characters attack in drastically different ways, and make them unlockable by getting high scores. In its current form, most players will try out multiplayer once, to see what it's like, and then likely won't touch it again.
First, those stupid robots ruined a perfectly relaxing mud bath this morning, and now you show up. Can my day get any more dreary?
SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated may be the same game from 2003, albeit wrapped up in a pretty package, with some extra, slightly frivolous bells. But it's delightfully nostalgic. The team at Purple Lamp Studios have done a phenomenal job at improving the visuals and feel of the game, despite the weak multiplayer mode. It's a solid execution on the game that has only grown with popularity since its release. For those 90s kids out there, it offers a moment of relaxation, a short break to slip back into a time that was a bit easier than now. Much like SpongeBob, you'll need it. For more video reviews and everything else gaming related, you're already in the right place. You're on Shacknews.com.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I don't need it.